Guys, it's Jan, Not a Real Farm. Boy, it has been a super busy day today. I'm just trying to run around and get as much done as I can, but one of the things that I've been doing is freeze drying meatballs in the freeze dryer, and then now what we're doing right now is we are going to be freeze drying spaghetti that we made. So I've got 2 trays of spaghetti here. I have pre-frozen them before we attempt to put them in the machine. The other thing that I have handy that we're doing, I'm just going to close this up, is I have 32 ounces of I'm doing scrambled eggs. We went out and we bought 3 cases of 150 eggs each. So basically what I've been doing is I have been freeze drying eggs so that we can put them away, obviously, as a powder. So one of the things that I've learned about attempting to freeze dry eggs, I'm going to show you because I think it's really important and will save you a lot of frustration if down the road you get a freeze dryer and you want to do eggs. It's a lesson learned. I frustrated myself to death trying to do eggs, and I want to show you what I learned. So we are at my freezer right now, and so one of the things that I learned was that trying to pour eggs into your freeze dryer trays and then attempting to move them into the freezer to pre-freeze them before you put them in the harvest right didn't work for me. So basically what was happening was I would go to try and move the tray and the eggs would start spilling everywhere, which everyone knows how messy eggs can be, and that is not a good way to start your morning. So basically what I've done is I've pre-frozen the trays, and then what I'm going to be doing is, rather than trying to attempt to move the tray obviously with the eggs in it, I'm simply just going to take the 32 ounces of egg that I have here and then pour it onto the trays, which are already sitting flat in the freezer, so that I can actually just freeze the eggs in situ rather than trying to frustrate myself. It took me 2 spills and almost an hour of cleaning up egg whites and yolks off the floor. So that was a big learning lesson for me. So what I'm going to be attempting to do is just basically pour the egg into the trays, close the freezer, walk away, and let it freeze for the next 2 hours. And then putting the spaghetti, which is on those 2 trays upstairs in the upstairs freezer, and the 3 trays of egg in the harvest right when they're ready and frozen. So this is just a lesson that I wanted to share with you because it didn't start my morning off right the other day. So I'm just going to pour those in now. Okay, well, here goes nothing. Let's see if this works. One of the things you want to do too is you don't necessarily want to fill the tray up fully. You want to kind of give it a little bit of space at the edges. So I just don't want to fill it up too far. That'll save me the frustration of actually overfilling it and having a spill. And I have 3 trays here, so... Oh, I missed an egg. So far, so good. I might only need 2 trays, but let's see. Okay, so this is working. This is working actually really well. So I haven't even filled it to the edges, as you see. I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of space, and I am going to bust up that egg that I missed, but I'm just giving it a little bit of space. I'm not trying to overfill the trays because that's when you have the accidents, as I've learned. Oh, I missed 2 eggs. There we go. So I've got 2 trays here that I could probably get away with putting a little bit more egg in. That was 4 cups of eggs. That's about 4 cups of eggs. So, and we still have an empty tray here. So we have a ton more room that we can actually put our eggs on. So I'm going to see if I can get away with another, maybe 2 or 3 cups of eggs, but so far so good. So lesson learned, make sure that if you're doing your eggs, put the trays in first maybe, and then put your eggs in, because then they can just stay there and they can freeze in situ, as opposed to putting the eggs in first and then trying to move because it's just so messy. The other thing I'm going to be doing is putting them in silicone egg cups and freeze drying them that way. So if you just want to rehydrate and go, you can, in terms of just having a sort of an egg cup and maybe toss some bacon in there and do it that way too. So I'm going to go and fill this cup, I think, back up to half, or maybe even 4 cups just for fun, and see how much I can get away with. But I just wanted to show you that if you just pour it in here in the freezer, you're done. You can just walk away and let it freeze. But let me go get some more eggs and see what we can get away with. Are you here to steal the eggs? Is that what you're doing? I know you love eggs. Yes, I know. Okay guys, I am going to get that other 2 eggs there, but let's see what we can get away with here. I'm satisfied with that, so I'm going to put a little bit more in here, see what I can get away with. This one's sort of leaning, I think, a little bit on the side here, but it's full enough. And I still have room enough to fill this one, so this is good. And I'm gonna, oh, I missed 2 eggs on this one too. So I'm going to just bring down the spatula, you know, sort of chop up the eggs, add some more eggs in on this one. I'm gonna leave this one because I think it's leaning a little bit and I don't want to push my luck. And then we are going to sit these in here and let them freeze for at least, I'm going to say 2 hours, because eggs, for whatever reason, take a really long time to freeze. And then we're going to be putting the spaghetti into the freeze dryer, the 2 trays of that, plus the 3 trays of eggs. And these will probably end up, I'm going to say, going for about 24 hours to freeze dry. So this is what it looks like. I have to get a couple of egg yolks here out of the way and be done with that. But we're gonna fill this tray up a little bit more, and then we're just gonna leave it sit for 2 hours and freeze. And I'm just gonna jump into my pantry and show you what the meatballs look like. So here is what the freeze-dried meatballs look like. I'll just turn it on the side so you can see it a little bit better. I just did these yesterday. I made a whole 8-quart pot of freeze-dried meatballs. They came out wonderful, dry as a bone. They are almost, like I said, the weight of styrofoam, and I put them in a gallon jar. So they came out really super great. I'm happy with it. You know, they've got lots of spices in them. Actually, the whole house smelled like really nice fresh pasta yesterday, so I was making everybody hungry, so that didn't help. But the freeze dryer did an awesome job. So I did that. I also took turkey stew, and I freeze dried my turkey stew. So that is now ready to, it's put away. I've named it, and that sits on the shelf. I've also freeze dried cheese. So dry as a bone, really happy with that. The cheese was already shredded, but basically what I've done is I freeze dried that, and I've done beef. So we had pulled pork, and then what I did was basically just took the leftover beef that we had that we weren't going to use, and I freeze dried that. So that'll be sort of almost a whole meal itself. And I did another thing of turkey stew. So really cool, really good results. I'm really happy with it. And what I'll do is I'll show you basically how the spaghetti comes out, and also show you how the egg comes out as well. I actually did make some egg powder. Actually, I think I have a jar handy. Hold on. So here is a jar of my freeze-dried eggs. They came out just like powder. I do have 2 oxygen discs in here because one of the things that I learned was that if you have an open package of oxygen discs, you should actually use them right away. It says that you should reseal them away from air once you're actually done. So there was only 2 packages left, and I thought, well, there's no point in me resealing just the 1 packet. So I put 2 in here. But this came out super great. It's really dry and flaky, the consistency almost of skim milk. But 2 trays of eggs actually fit in this mason jar. So, you know, when you take a look at how many eggs in one of those big cases that you can buy, I think it was 150 eggs per case, and I got 3, and you can fit 25 eggs, you know, in each, you know, scrambled, of course, in each tray. Your eggs in the box start to dwindle down pretty quick. So anyways, I just wanted to show you that it's coming out awesome. I'm really impressed with the machine. The eggs are, you know, I gotta say, I was really thinking about getting chickens, but here I can get 150 eggs for $30, you know, times 3. And then if I freeze dry them, I've got enough egg powder, you know, for the 3 of us for a little bit. So if I keep squirreling away food like that, it kind of negates having to get the animal, you know, get the feed, you know, put housing in, put heat in. I'm really liking that idea. So this is how the eggs came out, and I'm happy with it. And the meatballs, what we'll do is we will reconstitute the meatballs with the pasta just to show you, you know, what it tastes like. This has lots of spices in it, as you can see. These are pork meatballs, so I'm really happy with those too. So that's what I've been doing, guys, is just basically freeze drying and canning and putting stuff away and putting it on the shelf. So once we get everything done, I will show you the results of the eggs and the spaghetti. So thanks very much for joining me, guys. If you liked the information, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe. Hopefully see you soon.